All right, welcome to another deep dive, folks. Today, we're going to be taking a closer look at some excerpts from Coach Dave's work.
And specifically, his unique approach to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, one of the things that's really interesting about Coach Dave is he really pushes back against this idea.
Or just like quick fixes.
Right. It's not just about like setting a goal and like, forcing yourself to do it. It's about
creating like a system.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So how would you, from your perspective, how would you kind of define that system, or what are some of the key pieces of it?
He refers to it as intentional living.
Okay.
And I think it really starts with this idea that the choices we make, whether that's the foods we're putting into our body or the way we're moving our body or the people that we choose to surround ourselves with, those choices have a direct impact on the outcomes that we experience in life.
It's almost like you're not just reacting to life, but you're almost like setting the table, so to speak. You're creating the conditions.
He has this great metaphor. It's like imagining you're planting a seed.
Okay.
Right? And you can either choose to plant that seed in like really poor soil.
Right.
Or you can choose to plant it in rich, fertile ground.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
And so the seed has potential in both situations.
Right.
But that environment, that makes all the difference.
Makes a huge difference. So it's about cultivating the right environment. What are some of those environmental factors that we might overlook, when we're trying to make a change?
Well, Coach Dave spends a lot of time talking about the quality of what he calls our inputs.
Okay.
And he really emphasizes surrounding ourselves with the best possible ingredients, if you will.
Right.
For living a fulfilling life. And so that includes the people that we choose to spend time with. It includes the food that we choose to nourish our bodies with.
Okay.
And it even includes the physical spaces we choose to inhabit.
Yeah. It's like recognizing that personal growth, it's not just internal, right? It's about how your external world kind of lines up with what your goals are.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting. So how does this tie in with gratitude? We talked a little bit earlier about Coach Dave having kind of a unique perspective on gratitude.
Right. It's not like the typical, write down 5 things you're grateful for every day.
Okay.
He views gratitude as really a result, not as the starting point.
Interesting.
So when we live intentionally and we're making those choices that align with our values and that nurture our well-being, then gratitude will naturally emerge.
It's almost like it's like a byproduct.
Yeah, it's like a flower. Like if you plant the seed in the right soil and you nurture it and you care for it,
right,
it's gonna bloom.
Right.
It doesn't bloom because you tell it to bloom. It blooms because the conditions are right.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But all of this, it sounds like a lot of work. Like where do you even begin?
Right. Well, and I think that's where the power of small changes comes into play.
Okay.
Coach Dave really emphasizes consistency over perfection. He says it's those small intentional actions that we take on a daily basis that really start to create this ripple effect that leads to profound transformation over time. It's like, think of it like compound interest.
Right.
Right. If you're able to put away a little bit every day or a little bit every month, over time, that's really going to accumulate and add up to something much bigger.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's not about like, trying to change everything overnight. It's about picking a few things, a few small changes that you can implement.
Exactly.
How would you go about figuring out what those small changes should be? What should we be focused on?
That's where self-awareness comes into play.
Okay.
Coach Dave really believes that it's important to take inventory of where we're at.
Yep.
So understanding our current habits, our thought patterns, and then understanding our surroundings.
Okay.
Once we have that clear picture of where we're at, then we can start to identify the small adjustments that are going to have the biggest impact.
So it might be something as simple as, trading in a sugary drink for water, or
absolutely,
making sure you get outside every day and take a walk,
or limiting your exposure to negative news.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're almost decluttering your life in a way.
Yeah.
So it's all about getting to know yourself. what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are some of those things that kind of get in your way? And then from there, you start to build a life that actually supports you.
Precisely. And I think, this brings up a really interesting question, right? If we were to apply Coach Dave's framework to our own lives, what ingredients would we choose to prioritize?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, what are those small changes that we can start making today that will really help us cultivate that fertile ground?
That's a great question to think about.
Yeah.
Well, hey, everyone, thanks for joining us on another deep dive, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.